Thank you for having me.
Now you are here to discuss why you believe Jackson should be on the $20 bill.
Due to his acts as president, I do believe Andrew Jackson deserves to be on the $20 bill.
You also are here to discuss Frederick Douglass and African slaves.
Yes, I am here to clear up some of the controversy involving Andrew Jackson and his pro-slavery view.
Do you believe that Jackson caused further tension in the United States because of his views on slavery?
Jackson was just doing what he was raised doing. He grew up in Tennessee, and his family and all of his neighbors had slaves. Jackson did have a strict way of enforcing things violently, but he always got things done.
Well, what do you think of the Congress gag rules?
I believe Jackson and Congress were avoiding further confrontation. The gag rules were used to keep discussions off of the Congress and Senate floors. In 1835, abolitionists were sending thousands of letters and petitions through the mail to officials and prominent citizens. They were usually intercepted or never arrived. Jackson approved this for good reason and tried to keep a very political view, stating that they were trying to begin a rebellion.
So you do believe that Jackson is worthy of being on the $20 bill?
Because of his view on slavery, I do not believe that that should have any effect on his position on the $20 bill. George Washington had slaves as well as many other of our founding men. George Washington is still on the dollar bill, so Jackson deserves his place just as much as they do.
Well, thank you for being on the show.
I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, well, let's get started. How did Henry Clay feel about Andrew Jackson?
Well, I don't really think that they were friends. They didn't have many of the same views.
How about we start from the beginning with the election of 1824?
Well, Henry was a Speaker of the House of Representatives, and Jackson and Henry were rivals because of his popularity in the South.
Wow. How did Henry feel about Jackson running for president? Was he really qualified for the job?
I wouldn't say he was completely qualified. He was a common man. Jackson never held a cabinet post. He'd never been abroad before. He wasn't able to speak a foreign language, and he could barely write in English. But aside from all of that, he was a heroic general and incredibly capable of defending our country. And on top of that, he kept a great hold on the public's imagination. Better than some had done in the past.
And Jackson and Henry didn't support each other?
No, when Henry was knocked out of the running for presidency, I showed my support for Adams. But when he won, he named Henry Secretary of State.
At least he was in the cabinet. And he created the American system in 1828. Tell us more about that, Big Mac.
It was a program of congressional aid to economic development. Though transportation subsides and protected terrorists.
And is it true that during re-election in 1832, Jackson announced he was great against American system?
Yes, and that election is when the American system men, who were later named National Republican, nominated Henry Clay. That's right.
Yeah? Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And a third party was formed. How did they feel about Henry Clay?
They were the anti-Masonic party. They had considered uniting
Not that, man.
with his party, but changed their minds when Henry wouldn't agree with the Masonic order. It was evil and wrong, and Jackson felt the same way.
One last question, sir. Do you believe Andrew Jackson should be on the $20 bill?
I believe it's $20 bill.
$20 bill.
$20 bill.
The $20 bill.
That would be 200.
Yes, it would.
So it's 20.
Yes.
Alright. Yes, I do. He beat out candidates to serve as president for 2 terms. He was a great president and a heroic general.
That's all for today. Thanks for being here, big brother.
I'm not your brother. I
Well,
hope you know that.
Pretty close to being related. How? Me and your ex-wife. Thanks for watching The Christopher Show. I'm Chris.
I'm
He's
Mac.
Mac. Yes, he is. Sayonara.
You totally screwed that up.